Choose your own adventure. It's the cornerstone, really, of video games, right? You think about RPGs, that's what you really want to do. You go into Fallout, you go into any massive Divinity game, and you're like, I want to go my own way. But specifically designed Choose Your Own Adventure games have got really lazy. There was Until Dawn with its butterfly effects that kind of all led to the same place, and then they tend to have all the big important stuff happen at the very last minute, and you don't feel like you really made any important choices. We had some interesting ones like Detroit Become Human, where you could physically lose an entire main character within the first 20 minutes of the game, but all that really meant is that you didn't have them for some dialogue later on. Good game, but still didn't really feel like you were choosing your own pathway. We have the Telltale series. Many of you have probably played those. I love the Telltale games until they got really lazy. The first ones with The Walking Dead were fantastic. You could affect the emotions and the outcomes of lots of events. Then we get past, say, Borderlands, Tales from the Borderlands, which was a great one. And then they got into basically like, there's one road and that's the one we're going to travel. So when the Road 96 came across my desk as a, you should try this, Mike, I kind of passed over it. I was kind of done with them. But we had a spare day and I thought, okay, we'll have a look and see what this got. I'm so glad I did. This thing is pretty amazing. Let's take a look and go on a road trip. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Road 96. We are going to be playing as a number of teenagers. Let me set the scene for you, as I do like to do. We are in a country that has been under authoritarian rule, a country called Petria, since 1986, when a terrorist attack killed quite a number of people. And for the last 10 years, a president has been ruling over this country, and strange things have been happening, namely to the teenagers. The teenagers keep going missing. So we're going to be playing a number of these teenagers who are trying to flee the country by crossing the border, which lies at Road 96. Now, the way the game works is it's in the lead up to the election day. So it is going to be linear. Each team we play will start off furthest away from the election, then the next team will be a few days closer. And along the way, we're going to bump into many interesting characters. But our main objective, of course, is to get that character across the border in order to complete that loop. We can fail. We can fail spectacularly. That's kind of a problem. And along the way, these main characters, of which there's like 7 of them, are going to intersect with the road most traveled. And we're going to be learning about their stories, and we're going to be able to do a number of things. This game is all about choices that have significant amounts of outcomes play out throughout the game. And what you'll actually see is along our journey is the game will figure out and recalculate the next portion of our trip based on what we did on the last one. So our choices really matter. So with that said, let's jump into some gameplay. Welcome to the Road 96. It's June 13th, 1996, and we have, of course, just lost some health. Health is a resource in this game that we need to be very wary of. Video killed the radio star. Okay. So we are going to be showing this on New Game Plus, so I can show off a few things for you. This is about 13 hours into the game. So we'll start here. We can see there's a political rally going on up ahead. Now, in the top left, you can see that health. We're a teenager. We don't have anything. We have $13 and our clothes on our back. That's about it. And we have thousands of miles to cover in order to get to the border, which means along the way, we're going to have to do lots of things, depending on how you want to play this game. We might have to lie, cheat, and steal. We might have to cause political revolution. We might be nice and help people out. Maybe even work some jobs, which is a part of the game. So each section, as we approach the border, is broken up into these little pieces that we have to figure out and do the best we can with. So as we head down to this political rally, our hope right now is probably to find some money. Our health's pretty good. We will need to eat, drink, sleep, that kind of thing. And when we want to move on from a section, we also have to decide how we want to do that. Our choice of route is very important. So we can check through the trash. Maybe there's some money in here, some loose change. Nope, nothing to find. It's a little unfortunate. We could maybe walk. We could always walk. That's going to drain a lot of our health, though. Walking is not ideal to cover thousands of miles. We can check this car. Is there anything in here? Eject. Oh, we got a tape. So there are some collectible music tapes along the way, which allows us to play music when we're in cars with people, maybe change the mood, which is always nice.
Okay, we all know the plan, right?
Yes. Totally. Let's do this.
You get that Telltale vibe?
Is it me? Or is that kid over there listening to us?
Nothing to see here, kid.
Now, the voice acting is hit and miss. The main characters have had the main focus. The side characters definitely have a little... all right, I'm going. If we pause the game for a second, we can actually see a few of these. So we can see these main characters. Yes, 7 of them. So Zoe, John, Fanny, Alex, Stan and Mitch, Sonia, and Jared. And they're all really kind of interesting. And that's the most important part of any of these games, is are the characters interesting? They are very distinct. They're very different. And it'll also tell you how their stories are completed. I would say there's about 20, 23 hours worth of gameplay in this game for $20, which is well worth it. And you can see the completion level we've done with each of these characters. So I've only completed 2 in like the 15 hours, and there's still a few, like Stan and Mitch, I've only done half of whatever their story is. John's only 66, and so on. As well as, I have a number of tools. Now, I wanted to play on New Game Plus to show you the kind of things you'll pick up. So, along the way, when you start the game fresh, you won't have any of these tools. You pick them up through playing through the story, but they become very helpful as you progress through. You do keep these on a team-by-team basis. So there is that roguelite element. Although that teenager who found the lockpick may reach the border or may fail to reach the border, our next team that we play will have access to the lockpick and Lucky Star, which increases our probability chance, things like that, in order to help our next playthrough. So, we do have a political rally going on here. President Tyrak. President Tyrak is the one who is in charge and has been in charge for the last 10 years. Senator Flores is promising change. Here's Sonia, one of the main characters.
Look, find someone to film this, and now you know how important this is to it.
Where am I gonna find a loser to... Hey! You there!
Hello.
It's your lucky day. Sonia has a job for you.
I could use the money.
Perfect! Then you're my new camera operator. Now get behind the camera. Time to make some effing magic.
Okay, so we got a little job here for this political rally, so we're going to film.
This is just a little puff piece on the pump, Cuddle Muffin. Nothing to it. We have a sec if you want to, like, talk to me. Like, get my take on something important.
Not for you, really. Plus, okay, I should point this out, actually. These are very important. We may find out alternative routes to crossing the border, but it also depends on who the person is. Now, minor spoilers, Sonia is definitely a bought and paid for propaganda artist for President Tyrak. She's not going to be very happy with us crossing the border.
Is our bread and butter at GNN. I've even heard about kids crossing the...
Oh, she did reveal something.
Can you imagine?
And then we get some choices which will affect the game. Teams will stay if Flores wins. Yeah? She doesn't like Flores. We could be a rebel here and actually try to incite some violence, which definitely will happen if we go that route. Or we can explore alternative options if we don't really want to side with anybody. Let's start a riot.
Objective journalism don't get many views, sweetie. Okay, let's go. We'll start with the intro. Oh, this is good with the billboard behind me. How do I look? Wait, I know. Amazing.
Always, Sonia. Always.
Yeah, just like that. 3, 2, 1. Sonia here, reporting live from the site of Petria's newest oil pump. Don't goddamn move when I'm talking. Now, where was I? Sonia here, reporting live from... Stop zooming! Now, where was I? Sonia here, reporting live from the site of Petria's newest oil pump. Where the minister...
So while she's going along with this political rally, as we are going to play a number of different teams across the playthrough towards the election day, a good thing we can do is if we can decide which political side of the spectrum we want to fall on in order to very much affect the main outcome of the game, which will happen on election day. We have a great deal of choices to make along the way. I can do better.
Well, I don't got any cash on me, but I got something else. I knew you'd like it.
Right, that was the Lucky Star charm, so that's the one that increases our probabilities. So we can start affecting the political spectrum surrounding the border, which will have a distinct impact. So we can do things like vandalize posters of, say, President Tyrak or Senator Flores. We can start vandalizing those posters. We can start telling people that we want to vote for President Tyrak, which makes them think about those things. And it all adds up. No problem.
That's what I like to hear, Chunky Wonky.
I'm a chunky
Alright,
wonky.
he's approaching the podium. Film him.
Hello, good citizens. We're here to celebrate the opening of this pump.
Don't forget to take some close-ups.
I got it.
And what a beautiful and strong pump it is. Like
I have
our
played this
nation,
section before.
like
So I just want to
our
show you how we can start affecting.
Speaking of our president, let us cheer him to show our
Let's show our full support for President Tyrak.
Nice one, Dumpling.
Flores.
We're helping make propaganda right here.
Believes we should abandon fossil fuels and take away your jobs. What do
Boo!
the hardworking people of Petria think of
Boo!
Flores?
Good, cutie pie. Real good.
There's been a lot of talk of a brigade uprising. But am I worried? No. I've even let my teen daughter embark on a road trip. President Tyrak will keep our nation safe. Praise President Tyrak!
Yay! Now, I know a lot of people will draw similarities here to the US, but this is obviously a very similar thing that happens in a lot of countries, including my own.
Who you vote
Tyrak
It's-
is a liar! Teens are being imprisoned every day!
Tyrak is a fascist dictator!
Vote for Flores and save our country.
Stop them! Now!
Run!
I'm here, Sonia.
Oh, shut up.
Stop! Help me!
Oh no, we definitely don't do stories like that.
we don't do that. So, this can affect things, because if we decide to go against what Sony
Well,
wants...
It's about time to drive off in my limo. Like all good journalists do when they finish a story.
Can I have some money?
Look, to sum it up, you sucked with the intro.
Oh.
But I had faith. I was once a poor dirty teen myself. And I was goddamn right. You didn't F up filming the minister. Here, buy yourself a new...
Thank you.
Everything.
$50? Quality. Thank you.
Well, I do believe it's...
That's
time to
awesome.
go,
$50 is loads of
please.
money in this game.
Adam! Let's roll!
Right, so that's just a little section of which we're going to have about 5 or 6 of those sections throughout the game as we approach the border. What have we found here? Credit card, which we can use at an ATM. Always worth scrounging around before we leave. But now the important choice is, how do we want to proceed? Like I said, we can walk, but we need to bear in mind our health. But now we've got some money behind us because we did well for Sonia. And that's a lot of the choices you're going to have to make, and why this game is really interesting. Is your instinct might be to go vote Flores. Sonia's going to hate that, and she's not going to give you any money. However, it also sort of reflects on the political situation in the area. So you have a number of those choices to make as to, do you look after yourself? And sometimes you're going to be desperate, absolutely desperate to do those things. So you can see we can hitchhike. We could call a taxi, we could take the bus, or we could start walking, depending on our situation. Now, walking might not be too bad here because our health is pretty good. It depends what we get next. You got to see these signs, and this is where it gets extra interesting. So you can see this one here. Call 96112 if you have information regarding the brigade radio transmitter for $1,000. We are probably going to find out that information. And depending on who you want to side with, you might want to make that phone call. We can fully call in order to turn people in. We can absolutely do that. If our situation is so desperate that we need to do that, maybe you want to do that. Maybe you want to do that because you're affiliated. We can vandalize these posters, which does have an effect on the game. So if I vandalize President Tyrak, the people traveling through are going to see that, and people are going to start thinking, well, maybe his support's not that good. Another good thing is, we are going to play, say, 6 or 7 teenagers throughout one playthrough, is I really recommend calling home. There's some nice little, they're very tiny, but little backstories to go along with it. So let's call one now.
Yeah?
It's our father. Dad, it's me.
I told you never to call, didn't I?
Sorry, Dad.
Don't do it ever again.
Now, there are a lot of those little calling home things that you can deal with. Sometimes it's going to be nice. A lot of times it's bad because you are kind of a runaway. It really starts to kick into gear, this feeling, and this is what they're trying to capture, is you're a lonely teen on the road. Now we can pay for the bus. let's take the bus. Always interesting. Before we finish up here, because we can see how this journey is split up as we move towards the end game. Get ourselves a nice bus ride for the next journey. And now what you'll see is when it goes to the screen, because of the choices we made with Sonya there, it might have seemed quite light to you, but it has a really good ripple effect. You see, it's computing what the next step of this journey could be. And now we can see the map of Petria as we approach there. Now you can see along this journey that I did for this section, which was trying to be at least a minimum amount of spoilers. We bumped into several of the characters, and you can see them down there. And as we play other teens, all trying to approach the border, we'll bump into them again and learn more about them as we go through it. So we'll see who's on the bus with us. Now, I should point out, this game goes from heavily emotional in sad, happy, fun ways.
Come in.
There's a police officer. To horror. Like, actual kind of very intimidating and very uncomfortable situations. Nothing, officer. So we've got a guy sleeping, several people here. Oh, some money. Grab that. We could put some music in there maybe later on. Always worth browsing around. Because if we bump into, and a bus is a good way of doing this, if we bump into any missing teens, we can report them. Again, it comes down to how you want to do your playthrough and what outcome you're kind of hoping to get. Not that it's necessarily going to end that way. One thing I think is really cool about the game is the way you think you're playing isn't always going to work out. Twists and turns in a game like this are very important. But I am going to leave it here because Fanny is another main character. As you can see here, we have done 100% of the story, which means I do know what happens here. And I don't want to spoil it all because it's kind of intense. It's very, very intense. Well, there's the Road 96. An absolute great choose-your-own-adventure game. There are moments and decisions you make in this that have really dire consequences for maybe moments or even hours after. And you feel that quite intensely. And more importantly, the characters are interesting. The voice acting's not always on point, but it does well enough for me for an indie game. I think it's fantastic. I had great fun with this and recommend it to anybody. Thank you so much, guys. There you have it, the Road 96. Genuine emotion. It's hard to like describe the fear you feel with certain characters and the sadness you feel with certain characters and just the sympathy and empathy that you have with these guys. I love the fact that you are choosing your pathway. Literally, you're choosing the road more traveled to get to the same destination. And honestly, the culmination of everybody coming together towards the end, going through the same spot, treading the same footsteps that you know so many others have, that's really cool. And plus, you can fail a lot. And that kind of lets you down, and you may feel sad for those kids that got left behind. That was the Road 96, ladies and gentlemen. About 20 hours gameplay for $20, $1 an hour. That's not bad. Shit's all over a cinema, that's for damn sure. Tomorrow, though, big one. 12 minutes. I've been looking forward to this game since E3 2018, 2019. It's got Willem Dafoe in there. It's got Daisy Ridley in there. It's got James McAvoy in there. We're going to be playing that as a late stream, so I'm super excited for it. Hope it's going to be good, and I'll fill you in on the details tomorrow. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again. Bye-bye.